Hello and welcome to Random Marvel Fanfiction Live Reading. Okay, so if this is your first random live fanfiction reading, how it goes is I'm going to go on fanfiction.net and just start reading the first fanfiction that shows up. Now it's not like true random, unfortunately. I don't have any kind of software that will put I think for Avengers it's like 40 or 50,000 fan fictions all in a blender and actually truly randomize it. If you know math, there's really is no such thing as true random anyway. So yeah, that's how I decide which random Marvel fan fiction I'm going to pick. I've been doing fanfiction.net, but let me know if you're open to any picking from any other fan fiction sites. I know the other big two are AO3 and Wattpad. I know not everybody's the biggest fan of Wattpad. I'm actually not really sure what my audience's opinion of Wattpad is. I know it can be kind of mixed. And then AO3 has more mature fan fictions. The audience generally skews older, so the themes tend to get more mature on AO3, and also AO3 doesn't automatically filter out mature rated fan fictions the way that fanfiction.net does. So yeah. I'm going to give about a minute for people to kind of stream in. I'm going to set up fanfiction.net. So for Marvel / the Avengers, fanfiction.net does separate the comics and the movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it doesn't separate it as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It separates them separately by movie. So you would have Avengers, that's one category, and then you would have Thor, Captain America are separate categories. So it's very interesting how they did it. Hi, 90 Rex. Hi, welcome. And then you have the comics as a separate category, but I originally was oh yeah, I'll open it up to all of the Marvel comics, but then I realized that category of fanfiction.net really isn't super active. There's only a couple of thousand works in the Marvel comics section of fanfiction.net as opposed to the Avengers section, which has, if I can get this ad out of the way, oh come on, 50,000 almost exactly. So yeah, so now that there's at least, oh, wait, I'm so silly. I also need to pull up the stream on chat. I'm not going to be reading the chat in between or during chapters. I'm not going to be stopping in the middle of a chapter to read the chat, but in between chapters, I'll catch up with the chat. All right, here we go. Boop-boop. Random Avengers fanfiction. I actually rewatched Age of Ultron onwards in the Avengers series or the MCU for WandaVision. Okay, the first fanfiction is in French. I can't read that one. Second fanfiction, also in French. Can't read that one. Third one is Who is the Mom by P003. Is that supposed to say something? I'm not quite sure. So summary is, Steve brought his children to the Avengers Tower, but no one knows who the mother is. How long will his secret relationship last? Okay. And it is 9 chapters, but only 2,000 words. So this is going to be a pretty quick read. It's an all dialogue format, so there's no prose at all. So yeah, this is going to be a really quick read. Alrighty. Chapter 1. The elevator ringed. The door slowly opened. Steve was there. He was holding, at his right, a 10-year-old cute girl, at his left, a 10-year-old cute boy. They were twins. He walked in the common room with a smile on his face. Hi, who are you guys? Rogers, care to explain? Tony, we need to talk, in private. Guys, stay with her. I'll be back shortly. They answered, okay, at the same time. As Steve and Tony were already leaving the room, Wanda showed them to the couch, hoping to know a bit more. Hi, guys. My name is Wanda. What are your names? Hi, my name is Lexi. My name is Charles. Peter walked into the common room, blasting music on his earphones and lightly dancing, without noticing at first the two children. Wanda looked at him, lifting up her eyebrows, with that look that means, really? He noticed her and stopped immediately. He put his phone away. Who are they? Why are there kids in here? Where are their parents? Who are their parents? Too many questions, Peter. Oh, okay, let's start easy. Who are they? May I present you Charlie and Lexi? Nice to meet you guys. I'm Peter Parker. Hi, Peter. End of chapter 1. Okay, this is really different from anything we've ever read before. It's like an almost all dialogue format. I'm not sure because it says in the dialogue like who's talking before you get the actual dialogue, like before like the first line, hi, who are you guys? It says like underlined, it says Wanda. It's almost like a screenplay. Which makes sense because like this is a movie. This is like fandom for a movie. It's a really interesting format. And there's the chapters are super short too. So like I thought about like saying like, oh, Wanda, hey you guys, and then saying the line, but then this just like I said, this chapter's so short, I was able to kind of skim it and I don't, at least for this first chapter, like the context is good enough that you don't really need to kind of announce who's saying what at every line. Once the stream is over, I'm going to link everything down below so you can like follow along, or just go on fanfiction.net and you'll probably find what I'm currently reading. It's Who is the Mom by PO03. It's like the third or fourth fanfiction down. So yeah, alrighty. Chapter 2. Meanwhile, in the other room, Tony and Steve sat down. You know that you can't bring two children like that to the Avengers Tower without telling me first. If I told you, would you have let me bring them here? Fine. Where did you find them? They're my kids. I'm sorry, what? I brought them here because they have powers, and I can't help them control their powers if they go to school like any other kids. I find it quite hard to believe that you have children. I was hoping you and Bruce could teach them that the rest and that the rest of the team could help them control their powers. Excuse me for interrupting, but who is the mom? I can't tell you that. Well, in that case, they can't stay. Are you serious right now? Tony finally agreed, and they walked back into the common room. End chapter 2. So yeah, this is really like short. It's making me come to grips with the fact that the Avengers voices don't come as easily to me as I thought they would. like Tony has a very Tony Stark has a very specific cadence, and then Steve, of course, Steve Rogers, Captain America, he's kind of like a straight man, whereas Tony's kind of got a more of a kind of a snappier tone to him. He's very like his dialogue, like Robert Downey Jr. like dips in and out. He'll be like, huh? And then they'll kind of pull back, and then yeah. So like, and then also, if you've come to my random live fan fiction readings, you know I struggle with male voices in general. So considering like Wanda and then the twin girl Lexi is like the only female voices, I'm struggling a little bit here. Like I'm so like this next chapter features, just skimming over it, or features Peter Parker. I'm like, oh no, because when I like tried to hit Peter Parker, like the voice that came out of my mouth, I was not happy. But okay, chapter 3. Wanda was staring at the twins, first one, then the other, trying to figure out who were their parents. Peter already brought some toys and was playing with them. Great, now we have 3 kids to watch. Hi, Mr. Stark. What are you doing? I'm trying really hard, but I can't read their minds. Yeah, I told them you would try. So what does that mean? That means they're using their only power they already fully control, and they are blocking you out of their minds, as I taught them. Tony was still processing the information and thinking about how he was going to enjoy teaching them so much, but also how he had to hide his excitement because they were Steve's children. Wanda was still trying to read their minds, and Peter was back at the ground, playing with the twins. Then Bruce and Thor walked in. "Hey guys, where are those cute kids? They're so small." Steve laughed. The rest remained silent. Everyone was sitting on the couch but Tony. Steve got up proudly. "This is my daughter, Lexi, and this is my son, Charlie." "Nice to meet you guys." "It's nice to meet you too." "Your children?" "Since, when?" "Oh, how old are you guys?" "We're 10. Let me get this right, Rogers. You had 2 children, twins, and an unknown mom with powers for 10 years, and we find out now? Their mom is not unknown. I know who the mom is. I just don't want to tell you." Then Bucky and Pietro came in, and the explanation started all over. Everyone kept asking questions until Natasha came in, and as everyone was gathered around, she couldn't see much. "What are we looking at?" "Steve's children." "Oh shit, I forgot about that." "You knew?" "Steve, a quick word in private." "Sure, Nat." They walked out of the room. Everyone was staring at them. Nat couldn't believe that she forgot the kids were coming. Steve was worried. He didn't know that Nat had needed to talk to him. He didn't know what Nat needed to talk to him about. He thought everything was clear between them. They had that had talked about this, and they agreed it was the best thing for the twins. End chapter 3. Okay. I wonder if this, because it's like implying that it's Black Widow's kids, but spoiler alert if you like haven't watched the Avengers movies or like me have saw them when they first came out and have like slowly forgotten the details over time. Like one of Natasha's like I think it was her arc in God, like I said, I just watched the movie, so I'm already forgetting the details. Either in Civil War or no, it had to be Civil War. Um, that she can't have kids. So I wonder, is this an AU? There's no like author's notes anywhere, so I'm not sure. Ready? Chapter 4. Nat led Steve to her room. He let her in and closed the door behind them. Nat put her arms around his neck and he grabbed her gently by the hips. They kissed softly. "You know you can't ask for a talk in private every time you want to kiss me, because that might become suspicious." "That's not it, Steve." "Okay, what is it? What is it then?" "There is something we didn't clear out." "What? And you're telling me now? I just realized." "Okay, fine. What is it?" "I don't think I'll be able to see them every day without approaching them as their mom." "Well, you can play with them, and then you can come to my room at night and kiss them goodnight. You can train with them and maybe take them out somewhere sometime." "Okay, it's fine by me." She looked a bit sad. She seemed tough, but when it came to her children, she was the sweetest mom. She loved them so much. Steve was totally in love. His heart melted every time he saw her with the twins. They had been really good parents besides their job, but they were a bit afraid of this new situation, especially Nat, and Steve had noticed. He came closer to her as they had stepped a bit away through the conversation. He hugged her tight. "Hey, everything is going to be all right." "How can you know that?" "Come on, we're Captain America and Black Widow. I think we can handle the twins being here at the Avengers Tower and keeping the fact that you are their mother secret at the same time." "You're probably right. I mean, how hard can it be, right? We have hid this for years. What could go wrong?" In chapter 4. Hi, ooh. Riffy, Fiffy. Did you like follow it? I'm so sorry if that's your real name, but it also kind of looks like you fell asleep on your keyboard when you were making your username. But hello, R. Hey, Seth, there's a movie about the Avengers children called Next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow. It's the cartoon, right? There's been like I swear to God, I have such trouble keeping up with like the cartoon series, but also hi Steph. There's been at least one or two Marvel cartoons dedicated to like Avengers children or like the young Avengers. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, if there's like a cartoon movie like what DC does with like their animated movies. Mm. So wait, Steph, are you saying this is what that's based off of? Hmm. I wouldn't know. I'm thinking like I talked about this on last stream, but depending on how much people seem to like the Avengers content, I might like do more based on how much people like it basically. And considering there's 5 people here, hello. I might do more Avengers content if that's what people want and there's not like new stuff at the time because like I hinted at the end of my WandaVision review. My next review is going to be X-Men Evolution, which on Disney Plus is listed as like a Marvel Legacy cartoon. And so yeah. But I was also thinking like it doesn't need to happen if like people don't really care about Avengers stuff that like isn't new because X-Men Evolution is like one of my favorite cartoons from when I was a kid. So Keela, I have to miss the stream. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I know it's a school day for a lot of people, so don't worry about it. You can always watch it on the replay. I have college in the morning. Yeah, that's like I said, it's fine. Or oh, I guess for you it'd be a school night. So yeah, get some rest. It's fine. Don't feel guilty about missing the stream. It's okay. School is more important, definitely. No, I just mentioned it because I love movies. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I even if I don't end up reviewing any of them, I do want to like delve into the Avengers cartoons. It's just I'm very much cartooned out between like my rewatch of X-Men Evolution and then my next Wings Club thing. Since a lot of my Wings Club people are here, I'm watching through all 8 seasons of Wings Club. I'm gonna make like a giant review of all 8 seasons. But that's gonna take a while. But also it takes up a lot of like my cartoon brain time. So yeah, I'll watch the Avengers cartoons eventually, but a little cartooned out right now with what's currently on my plate. Alrighty, chapter 5. Oh no, I just read chapter 5. Silly me. Chapter 6. Outside the common room, Bucky and Steve had sat together to talk. As his best friend, Bucky wanted to know more. He wanted to know why Steve never told him he was a dad. He wanted to know who the mother was. He would have wanted to know those things. He felt a bit betrayed, but decided he'll give Steve a chance to explain himself. Well, I guess congratulations are a bit late. Bucky, I really wanted to talk to you. Then why didn't you? I wanted to protect them. I wanted to know that if they had powers or not before exposing them to the world. I just thought it was safer not to tell anyone about them. I only want what's best for them. I get it. You want to be a good dad. I'm really sorry. I wish I could have told you before. Maybe you could make it up by telling me who the mom is? I can't. We've talked about this. It's better if no one knows. Come on, Steve. It's me. You can tell me. Don't you trust me? I do, but I don't trust Wanda. She's probably already tried to read everyone's minds to see who knows what. You're right. Are you still together, though? Are you happy with her? Yes, we are. We're doing great, actually. And the kids, they're just amazing. I'm sure you're a great dad, Steve. At least I'm trying my best. Steve and Bucky shaked hands and walked back into the common room. Bucky sat with the others. Steve noticed Natasha wasn't with them and decided he better join her, but of course he didn't say that out loud. He told the others he was going to bed because he didn't want to wake up the twins later at night. Wanda knew he was lying, but he left before she could find out more about it. Alrighty. Like I said, it's very screenplay-esque. Everything is very literal. Even some of the dialogue, it's like, It like assumes it kind of like assumes that like exposition needs to be given in like kind of like a movie format. Alrighty, chapter 7. Nat was in her room. She had already changed into her pajamas when Steve knocked on the door. He came in quietly and walked to her decidedly. As soon as he was close enough, Nat gently grabbed the back of his neck and pulled him in for a kiss. He grabbed her by the waist, bringing her closer to feel her body against his. They pulled away from the kiss, locking their gazes for a few seconds. She smiled, and Steve brought her in for another passionate kiss. He picked her up, and she put her legs around his waist. Steve brought one of his hands from the back of her waist, slowly down. Oh, come on, you guys. Okay. Yeah. I should have skimmed over this chapter beforehand. Just rated T on fanfiction.net allow for like straight up sex scenes. Okay, I'm gonna link this down below. If you want to read this, you can, but I'm going to skip this chapter. Chapter 8. The next morning, Steve woke up to the voices of the twins whispering and lightly giggling. He smiled. He was so happy that he had brought them to the Avengers Tower and that he could spend more time than he usually did with them. He asked them to start getting ready and to head downstairs when they were done for breakfast. He put a shirt on and left the room. Before heading to the kitchen, he woke up Nat with a kiss on her head and he told her he was making breakfast for everyone. She smiled at him and got up, dressed, and then headed to the kitchen. When she arrived there, breakfast was almost ready. The kids were sitting around the counter, and no one was there yet. Good morning! Good morning, kids. Morning, Tony. Do you want DM pancakes? I want pancakes, Daddy. Me too, Dad. Please. Please, Dad. Please. Ooh, pancakes. I want some as well. I'll have some pancakes too, Rogers. Steve handed a first plate, and Charlie brought it to Wanda. Ladies first. Thank you. What a gentleman you raised here, Steve. Taught him well. He handed another plate to Charlie and gave it to Nat. The next one was for his sister, and he took a plate for himself. What, no pancakes for me, kiddo? Here you go, Stark. As Bucky, Vision, Bruce, Thor, and Peter walked in one by one, Steve handed them all plates with pancakes, before grabbing one for himself. Okay, pancakes. Yeah. This morning, my parents just made a trip to Costco, and they bought cookies, like those old like cookies you used to get out of a vending machine that like came in 2-packs. It was so good. All right, this is the last chapter. So, chapter 9. After breakfast, Peter left for school, and Tony scheduled a few hours for the twins' lessons. Steve went out for a run, and Bucky offered to help Nat train with the kids and maybe try to figure out some of their powers. So, what powers do you know you have for now? Wanda can't read our minds, but we can read hers. Is that everything? No, we can also read everyone's minds. Well, that is interesting. How are your fighting skills? Let's try something. They followed Nat's instructions for a warm-up, and she taught them a few fighting techniques. Then they slowly began to fight against Bucky. He was being very careful because they were Steve's kids, and he didn't want to hurt them. By accident, he stabbed one of them. But the knife didn't cut Charlie. They had just found out another power. The twins couldn't be physically hurt. Nat, don't be mad, and let me finish before you tell Steve anything. Bucky, what happened? Well, that's the thing. Nothing really happened. What do you mean? I accidentally stabbed Charlie, but the knife didn't cut him. What? Charlie, are you okay? I'm fine. So it doesn't hurt? Why would it hurt? Charlie and Lexi had never felt pain. Nat kept asking herself how they could have missed something like that. Charlie, Lexi, When you accidentally bump really fast into something, like a wall, a door, or any furniture, what do you feel? Nothing? Just that there is something and we can't pass. Why didn't you tell your father? We thought it was normal. Well, that's great. Steve will be less worried now. Yeah, I guess so. Then Wanda entered the training room. She said Tony was waiting for the kids in the lab for their first lesson. The twins left. Bucky, Wanda, and Nat stayed there discussing about what just happened and how to tell Steve one of them almost got stabbed. Alrighty, that's the final chapter. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, it's very different from anything we've read here ever. Everything's like very literal. It's like very screenplay-esque is like the words I keep using to describe it, just because everything is like very plain. It's not like it's actually like almost like the polar opposite of like how I write. If you've either been to my live reading of my own fan fiction or you have just read it, like I am very much a prosy person, although not. It could be worse. I'm not like a high fantasy Tolkien, George R. Martin kind of like level of prose, but I'm definitely like, I used to think that my writing was very literal and like very plain, and then you read fan fiction, you read like kind of like what your peers are doing in the field, and it's kind of like, oh, my work dawdles on a lot more, because like some people are like this, and it's just like this happens, boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. Alrighty, but let's try to find another fan fiction to read. Oh, there's another one that just popped up called "Every Night Has Its Day" by Bacony Ma. I was almost about to say Balcony Ma, but I didn't realize Bacony Ma, also because of the their profile picture is a bacon. AU, where Infinity War happened differently because one Titan wasn't able to do his job properly. Sorry for my English, it's not my native language. Titles based on Waiting for Love by Avicii. Ninety Rex says it was like a screenplay, but I think it was if it was acted out, it would be entertaining to watch. Yeah, I'm like reading this out, like I was saying earlier, I'm realizing like my Avengers voices aren't really quite where they need to be to be reading Avengers fan fiction. Like I said, I struggle with male voices in general, and then just a lot of the like there's really no like weak link in the Avengers cast. Everyone is like very good, and like their characters are very specific, and that's like how like unique the acting is like very much a testament to the actors, and I can't emulate that. So never mind one of them having to do all of them. Hi, hold the bananas. Oh, hi, Kim. LOL. Yes, him. Hi, hold the bananas. Alrighty. Every Night Has Its Day by Bacony Ma. And how many chapters? Oh, is this only one chapter? Okay, it's only one chapter. So we might get to 3 this live stream. Author's note, the story is rushed. I know. I try to do it as long as I was able, but considering I do everything quickly, it just looks as it looks. If you see a mistake or a way to improve this, please let me know. I like to make my writing better. Also, English is not my native language, so I guess you can find here really weird phrases. Anyway, try to enjoy. Okay, I will actually give, because if you watch my random fan fictions regularly, I think you'll kind of pick up I don't really give criticism to the fan fictions we read, because not everybody is looking for criticism, like, and then we just also like sometimes you don't know how like old somebody is. Like a few of the fan fiction we've read on stream, I've like kind of gotten the idea that maybe this person is like on the younger side. Maybe like, they haven't taken like, I don't know, like college level English classes yet. And yeah, so like I don't want to like go in criticizing something one when they haven't asked for it, and two, like not knowing the context of the person who wrote it. So yeah, but this person is asking for constructive criticism, so I'll try to give some at the end if I have any to give. No, so chapter 1, so the only chapter. No resurrections this time. These words echoed in Thor's head when he watched the body of his little brother fell on the ground. He thought, he will jump and stab the Titan, or something like this, but nothing. He lay still and motionless. Loki's face was turned to him, so Thor could see lots of bruises and blood, which already started to dry. Yes, the god of thunder had already seen Loki hurt, but not that much. And every time it happened, Thor stayed with Loki and protected him from further harm. Now, he could do that's absolutely nothing, but it's missing the Y. But watching, his eyes were closed. Thanos smirked and lifted the gauntlet, which had 2 gems within. It all happened too quickly, which startled Thor. He always thought, Asgard has the best warriors, who cannot be defeated, even when they weren't in the best condition, but Thanos managed to do it in less than an hour. The Titan's gaze fell on Thor, who was trying to free from the shackles, which Ebony Maw gave him, but they were proper, so everything Thor managed to do were bruises on his arms. It was foolish to continue doing so, but that was not in Thor's concern. The Titan nodded in his direction, almost as saying farewell, and clenched his fist. The Power Stone flashed with purple light, and flames in the same color appeared inside the ship. Then, with the Space Stone, they teleported away. Thor felt a pain in his chest when he remembered for what price they get it. The fire was getting stronger, burning everything what came to their way, but it was the last thing Thor was concerned about. It was always like this. Loki got injured, and suddenly Thor lost every concern about his health, only to defend his brother. As soon as the shackles fell off him, he tried to get to him, but he was still hurt. His head was killing him as a reminder of what the Power Stone can do. New bruises on his arms hurt too, but not that much. Though nothing could stop him from getting to Loki. He couldn't stand, so he creeped to him like a snake. The bodies and pieces of metal made that a hard task, but he did it. Finally, with his brother, he clutched the armor on his chest and rested his head on it. He did not mind the smell of sweat and blood. The entire ship smelled like this, and started to weep miserably. He watched Loki die too many times, so someone might say he got used to it, but he never did. Was it even possible? Every time, it was painful, each time a bit more. This was the never-ending circle of dying and coming back to life with one problem. It could end every time, and he won't know it. He will probably spend the rest of his life mourning for his brother, hoping he will come back, as he always did. He'll come, or Thor couldn't even think of this. On a moment, he felt a little movement on his brother's chest. At first he thought it was true, and everything will be fine. But then, when nothing happened, the movement didn't repeat. He came to a conclusion. It was a mere hallucination, only a desperate image his brain made. He didn't have time to think about this anymore. The ship exploded in purple light, and everything went back. Thor! Thor turned. He was standing in the middle of a battlefield. Soldiers of both armies were trying to save their lives by killing the others. One of the Ianhars was screaming at his men, who ran for his life. The Ianhar cursed, only to be impaled from behind. He gasped, and when the sword left his body, fell on the ground. He never moved again. Many bodies already lay on the ground, pools of blood under them. Blood was dripping from various weapons, blood in a little pond, which had a clean water before a mere minutes, blood covering his clothes, its smell in the air, and behind the dust, raised by horses, he saw his brother. The young prince was trying to shot him from his horse as many enemies as was possible. He was one of the lucky man who didn't lose his horse during the first attack. They were forced to ride against spears, and not even Thor's horse didn't survive. Loki was stretching the bowstring in a rush. Arrows kept flying around the men, missing them and striking in nearby trees. Only a few arrows found their supposed destination. Loki was normally a brilliant archer, but this was his first battle, and it was clear that he was in great distress. The god of thunder immediately started to fight his way to his brother, powered by fear and urged to protect his little brother. The god of thunder was unstoppable. No enemy managed to harm him. Every single one of them was killed. Loki was surrounded by a circle of soldiers who were getting nearer and nearer, but when he stretched his bow once again, it broke in half with a loud whack. The prince stared on useless pieces of wood in his hands. He got his knives, but only two of them, and he needed them. If his mare dies, and we'll have to fight from a ground. Hold on, Loki! Thor ran as fast as he could, but there was no way he'd do it before the men will hurt his brother. He swore under his breath and continued to run. The young prince turned the horse towards the people. He hoped to jump above it and get away. It was a desperate thought, but this was desperate situation. He dug his heels into the horse's underbelly. The horse did jump, but then there was a landing. His mare landed badly on her food, which twisted under her. She made a pained noise and crumpled to the ground. Loki's reflexes were normally sharp, but today they were, as well as his archery, affected by the stress. He jumped from the saddle too late and ended under Mare's body. He did not move. When Thor regained consciousness, the first thing he noticed were the voices. They were unfamiliar and came from the distance. They sounded almost as being muffled by some kind of fog. He wanted to open his eyes, but the eyelids were too heavy. What an irony, he thought. The mighty god of thunder is too weak to open his own eyes. The voices appeared nearer. Then there were fingers on his temples and, wake. The god of thunder finally opened his eyes. He sat up and looked around. He found out that he was sitting on a metal table, and around him stood a bunch of weirdos. A gray-skinned man, another was probably a human, then a rabbit, then a tree, who was playing a game on its tablet, green woman with dark hair and a bug girl. The human looked at him with something similar to jealousy. Why? The gray man, almost as a worshiper on his god, and the rabbit studied his eye patch, which was slightly scary. Then he remembered, Loki! Loki! Hey, dude, what's the matter? Spoke up the human. The gray-skinned man shot him a look. He is on the ship. We have to save him. Don't worry, he's here. What? Don't worry, he's here. What? Thor turned on a rabbit who sat in his chair. Well, we found you and your friend, lover, or whatever he is. Thor's face showed disgust as the rabbit said lover. The green woman noticed it and continued in front of Rabbit. You were flying in space and you held him like he was your lifeline, so we saved you both. He wasn't in a good shape, so we moved him to the bed. He started to heal rather quickly. Do you want me to show you where your brother is? Ah, so they are bothers. Shut up, Rocket. Thor ignored them and nodded to the green woman. He wasn't in mood to think why the woman knew they were brothers. Maybe she only guessed. She led him to the corridor. It was gray, but on the walls were pictures, which looked like they were drawn by a child. They missed a few doors before they finally stopped. He is inside. We treated him, but as I said, he heals quickly. If you need something, we'll be in the room you wake in. She was trying to be kind, but Thor didn't interrupt her. Oh, and by the way, I am Gamora. I am Thor. Nice to meet you. Gamora smiled and left. Thor walked into the room and saw Loki, laying motionlessly on the bed. His chest was moving up and down. He was breathing. He was alive. Thor released a choked sob. He was happy he didn't lose his brother, but Loki's state saddened him. He knew how he hated being ill or hurt. During this time, he was always defenseless, which meant he had to trust someone in defending him. If something happened, Loki always trusted only two people, Thor and their mother. Sometimes, when he went on a quest with Thor, Sif and Warriors 3, he refused to sleep until Thor had a watch. But these times were long gone. Warriors 3 were dead, Sif probably too. Heimdall maybe managed to fly away with the ship. in the ship with Valkyrie. Bruce was on Earth and Asgardian refugees somewhere in space. The biggest threats the universe had ever seen was here, already a halfway to the victory. Maybe, if Thanos didn't destroy Statesman, he would be now trying to figure out the best way to get to Earth, to warn the Avengers. Loki would be annoying again. Bruce would give him his "you've gone mad" look, and everything would different. Till Loki wasn't healed, Thor didn't mind if his brother was attacked by Thanos or a mere space pirate. He would defend him, no matter what. He won't lose his brother again. Alrighty, that's the end of Every Night Has Its Day. Ooh, that was longer than I thought it would be. I can't. Hold the Banana says, I can't stay long. Just saying hi. Hope you all have fun. Thank you, Hold the Bananas. Thank you for popping in. So yeah, it's. I mean, the actual like story itself, I think is fine. I don't really think, especially because it's only the intro, it's only the first chapter. It's not really anything to critique there. But yeah, especially towards the end, there's a lot of kind of like grammar stuff. A lot of things that are not like, yes, spelled wrong, but also like knives. It's clear that like this person, like it's fine that like this person's like English is the second language, because there's a lot of kind of like common like people who are not familiar with English mistakes, like the words when knife is singular, it's spelled Nife. When it's plural, it's Knives. Whereas here, when you spelled it, it's with the F. But yeah, that's like it's like one of those things where it's like you don't know English. It's one of those weird rules where it's like you just have to remember it. Like the rule isn't really repeated anywhere else, and so it's like it's not consistent. It's just a kind of a memory thing. So yeah, it's a lot of grammar stuff, and then also the whole like scene. If you're reading along with me, the passage of Loki and Thor in the battle is like separated by paragraph lines. It's all one big passage, and there's no like paragraph breaks at all. It's one giant paragraph. And so when you're reading that, it gets really confusing because it's just a wall of text with like no way to separate it. I do understand it's a separate scene, it's all prose, it's all in italics. So it's supposed to be kind of its separate thing, but you can still have paragraph breaks within that passage. So yeah, I think we have time for one more. And okay, under Who is the Mom is another fan fiction in French. Man, maybe I should learn French. Okay, this one is After the Fire by Flameheart 274. After Kira's family is killed by a mysterious assassin, she's recruited by the Red Room. Fueled by her desire for revenge, she quickly rises to the top of her class. Alrighty, is this an OC? Or maybe this is from somebody from the unreleased Black Widow movie. Because I've seen the trailer for it. I know it has like Black Widow's sister, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Yeah, but it's like about Black Widow's family and hasn't come out yet because of Shmershmona. If you watch Hercules Candies, that's where I got that from. Shmershmona. So yeah, or maybe this is an OC. And it's only one chapter, and the chapter is very short. But I think this is going to be the last one. So, okay. After the Fire by Flameheart 274. The first thing Kira noticed when she opened her front door was the coppery smell of blood. The house was eerily quiet. She opened her mouth, about to call out, but a strange tingling sensation at the base of her neck told her not to. Quietly as she could, she crept down the front hall, turning the corner into the kitchen. She froze. There was blood everywhere. Covering her mouth to keep from gagging, she searched for her parents. With mounting terror, she moved to the living room and froze. Lying in the middle of the living room were two mangled corpses, her parents gruesomely murdered. There was a knife embedded in her mother's throat, and her father was bleeding from countless bullet holes in his chest, and his neck was bent at a strange angle. Now that she was further into the house, she could hear a quiet sobbing coming from upstairs. Nina! She had a sudden urge to run away, but forced herself to take a deep breath before quietly climbing the stairs to search for her sister. She found her huddled in a ball at the end of the hallway. She was not alone. Standing over her was a woman. She was tall, pale, and had the most vibrant red hair Kira had ever seen. Hanging from her utility belt was a knife dripping with blood. In her hand, pointed at Nina's forehead, was a gun. Kira instantly knew that this was the one that had killed her parents. With a small gasp, Kira tried to back away before Nina saw her. Too late. Kira? Nina cried. As fast as lightning, the red-haired assassin turned around. With a jolt of terror, Kira turned and fled. Desperate to escape, she leaped from the nearest exit and threw herself right out of a window. The world tilted, and before she passed out, she heard gunshots and Nina screaming. When Kira awoke, it was night. Everything ached, but she forced herself, muscles screaming, to get up. The world spun, and she could barely walk, but she had to see if Nina was okay. Too dizzy and sore to bother that she was making too much noise, she stumbled upstairs. Crumpled at the end of the hallway was Nina. Her eyes were still open. With a rush of relief, she stumbled over to her and collapsed beside her. Nina, she whispered, get up, we have to go. Nina didn't move. Nina, she said again, shaking her shoulders. Nina's head lolled to the side, hair shifting to expose a bullet hole in the side of her head. No, 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 Kira whimpered. She grabbed Nina's lifeless face and looked into her eyes, those eyes, beautiful chocolate brown, that were supposed to be full of wonder and innocence, now clouded to death. Nina, Kira sobbed. Please wake up. But she knew it was pointless. Her little sister was dead, just like her parents. The rest of the night passed like a blur. Kira could barely focus as she hauled her sister's body downstairs and laid her beside her parents. She gently closed Nina's eyes and covered the ugly wound in her head with her hair. Carefully, she removed the necklace that Nina always wore, a locket with a picture of her family, alive and healthy, on vacation to Egypt. She gathered some sheets from the closet and draped them over her sister and parents' bodies. Lighting a match, she dropped it at their feet and watched the sheets catch fire. Turning away, she clasped the necklace around her own neck and let the world burn around her. Okay, that was After the Fire by Flameheart 274. Wow, what an intense way to open. Ooh, curious to see where this goes, because this is only like the opening chapter. Woohoo. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. I've been drinking some tea, but I'm gonna go quickly downstairs to get some more. Let me know if you guys like wanna maybe just want to chat for 10 minutes, or if you want me to like see if I can find one more to like maybe quickly read the first chapter or something. Until then, I'm gonna get some more tea. Okay. I think I'm gonna go for one more. All right. Avenger Tower Tidbits. You wake up one morning to find texts on a phone you don't remember owning. You are going to the Avengers comp. Oh, wait, I forgot to close the door. Hang on. Sorry about that. You were going to the Avengers complex later that day, and you seem to have been friends with them for years. The problem? You don't remember them. You seem to be the only person to remember watching the movie Avengers the night before. Should you tell them your secret? How do you become an Avenger? Okay, so this is like, is this going to be like a text fan fiction, like an Imagines kind of thing? No, this is like a full thing. And there's also 33 chapters with a total of 72,000 words. So I am clearly not going to be finishing this all in one go. But let's read the first chapter. Author's note, hello everyone and welcome to my story. And this is by Mountain Frost. Sorry, I will start by saying that I do not know anything. Read your fanfic. How much I post will depend on how much people like the story. No pressure. There are no pairings, and I actually came up with the story after not finding any OC fanfics without pairings. But that doesn't mean that there's no friendship fluff. The story will most likely be a series of one-shots with a little bit of background story strung through. Okay. Strung throughout. The Avengers have been after me to post this for a while. Finally got around to it, so yay. Let me know what you think, and sorry if there are any misspells. My autocorrect broken, and I'm nothing without it. Then maybe you shouldn't have. Yes, thank you for the input, Peter. Smiles forced to the canna, like it's The Office. And out of the story. Aw, it's like one of those character, like the author like interacts with the characters in the author's notes. I thought people didn't do that anymore. That's actually really nostalgic to see because I haven't seen that in forever. But okay, chapter 1, Amnesia. You wake up slowly. You are still tired and look over at your alarm clock. It is just past 7 and you groan as you realize that you overslept. You'll be late for school. There is no doubt about that. But you are more grimacing at the thought that you'll have to buy a new alarm clock. Why hadn't the clock gone off? Then you remember the day before, when you finished your last test. You give a huge sigh of contentment and sink lower into your bed. It's the first day of summer break. Who cares how long you sleep in? Your pillows and blankets seem to hug you and draw you down deeper into the cozy depths of the bed. You are about to sink into the blissful realm of sleep when you suddenly hear a cheerful ding. For a moment, it doesn't even register, but then it is followed by another series of ding, 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 ding. That is when you frown. Not only were you denied sleep, but you also don't know where the dings are coming from. Grunting in frustration, you twist around and prop yourself up on your elbow, looking at your bedside table. Then your eyes widen. On top of the mess on your table is an iPhone with a purple case on it. There are stickers and decorations on the back and make it more you. On the screen are a series of texts before the screen goes blank. There is one problem with the situation. You don't own an iPhone. You used a flip phone, not wanting to get an iPhone until you could afford it. You reach over and hold your thumb over the home button. Sure enough, the phone clicks on. If this was a gift, then how could it have your fingerprints already? Well, you are a heavy sleeper, but that is still unlikely that someone could have bought a phone for you and installed your fingerprint. You flip through the phone's homepage. It is filled with apps, and you click open one of the game apps. You are on level 31. There is no way that this phone could be yours, but everything points to it. There are even a few selfies of you. You find this very odd. How could you forget an iPhone, something which you have been saving up for years? You click on text and pull of the last text that you got. See you later today. You cock your head to the side. Where Where are you planning on going somewhere today? Then you look at the sender and you drop your phone. This can't be happening. What is going on? Is someone playing a weird joke on you? You tentatively pick up the phone using 2 fingers as though the phone will try to attack you. There is the sender's name, Steve Rogers. You then flip through the rest of your contacts, your limbs going numb as you see them all. Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Banner, Clint, Barton. The list goes on. It seems that everyone, except for Fury, is in your phone. This can't be a joke unless someone is really committed. You think whoever went through all of this trouble for just a prank should be committed to an asylum. You pull off your covers and quickly pull on some jeans and a t-shirt. Then you notice a suitcase on the end of your bed. You push down on it with your hands and realize that it is full. What is going on, you think? You quickly race downstairs, your phone in your hand. As you jump down the stairs, you flip through the messages. It seems that you are in contact with Steve, more contact with Steve than the others, so you guess that you have a deeper friendship with him than with the others. Hey, darling, your mom says. How'd you sleep? Yeah, fine, you reply, examining your phone. What's this? You ask, holding up your phone. Your mom looks over her shoulder. It's a phone, she says. You drop your hands to your sides and raise your eyebrows. I know, but it's not mine. I don't have a phone like this. I've been saving up for 3 years. Honey, your mom says slowly with a hint of sarcasm. You've had that phone for 3 years. You stare at her, and her eyebrows knit together in concern. Are you feeling all right? She asks. Maybe you should stay home today. No, I don't have to, you say quickly. But then you frown as you realized that you had no plans to go anywhere today. It was the first day of summer break, which, by definition, meant that you were to do nothing but eat junk food and stay up way too late. Wait, where am I going? You ask. Your mom's eyebrows seem to knit tighter together, which you didn't think could happen. That Avengers complex, she says. She walks over, looking you in the eyes. Are you sure you're feeling all right? She asks. You plaster on a smile. Of course, I feel fine, you say, which isn't a lie. You feel fine. Everyone else doesn't, but you do. The entire world has lost its mind, but you feel fine. Your mother has the worried look that all mothers perfect over the years of having teenage daughters. When's breakfast? You ask. In about 10 minutes. You had better get upstairs and finish packing. You'll have about half an hour till Clint comes to pick you up, she says. You begin to feel dizzy. Hawkeye is going to be here in half an hour? Okay, you squeak, a smile planted firmly in place as you turn around and promptly walk back up the stairs. You think it would probably be easier to take the news that the Earth was spinning in the other direction rather than the Marvel characters are real. Of course, part of you is incredibly excited, but the larger part of you is terrified. Not only are the Avengers real, but also the threats. Where are you in the timeline? And also, how can you not remember anything? How are you the only one to remember that last night you were watching the Avengers? You quickly pick up the pace and run to the TV room. It should be on the couch. It should be. You run over to the couch, but the case for the Avengers DVD isn't there. You run over to where you keep the movies and frantically search, but you can't find any of the movies. You walk back to your room, your mind spinning with so many thoughts that you can't even pick one. When you reach your room, you click open your phone and then search for YouTube. After searching several minutes for the Avengers theme on YouTube, you find nothing but weird fan art and sappy music. You finally begin to realize that this might not be a trick. You can tell that you are awake, but it still doesn't make sense. You look at your phone for a long moment. Then, as if it has a mind of its own, your thumb slowly moves towards contacts. The first contact is Steve. You stare at the name for the long time. You can't tell if you're mentally fighting yourself or having a mental breakdown. Then you press call. The phone starts ringing as you hold it up to your ear. You begin to get goosebumps as the phone keeps ringing. Finally, you get to his voicemail. You hear Tony frantically shout, whisper, "Okay, go now." Then Chris Evans' voice. "This is Steve Rogers. Please leave a message at the tone." "Nope," you say, hanging up and throwing down the phone. "Can't do it." Raising your hands, you walk out of the room, closing the door behind you. You stand there for a moment, resting your hand on your forehead and the other hand on your hip. You could tell that Steve was reading from a script, And what he said basically meant, either I'm not here or don't know how to pick up on this thing. Then you remember what your mom said. You're leaving in less than half an hour to go to the complex. You walk into your room and begin to make sure you packed everything. You wonder how long you've known the Avengers. Even though you watch the movies all the time, do you really know the characters? You try to remember every tiny detail of each character. Is Steve 6'2" or like the character or 6 foot like Chris Evans? What is Natasha's favorite color? Is Hawkeye an introvert or extrovert? Does Thor really like Pop-Tarts? Other than reading the text from them, you have no idea how to tell. You quickly look through your suitcase to see that you are almost completely packed. You throw a few extra socks and shirts haphazardly into the case before shutting it. You have no idea how long a flight it will be from here to New York, so you make sure to have a lot of things to entertain you all along the way, in case you get, bored? Or perhaps in case you need a distraction. Suddenly, you feel a rumbling beneath your feet. A few of the pictures on your wall begin to tremble as vibrations run through the house. Somehow you feel as though you know the noise. You grab your suitcase in one hand, still holding the phone in the other, and then rush down the stairs. About halfway down, you hear your mom call, "Mr. Barton is here to pick you up." You jump the last few stairs and look out the back door. A small Quinjet is resting in the backyard. The trees around your house are swaying back and forth, and leaves and blowing around everywhere as a result of the wind caused by the jet. You can see heat waves around the engine, and a ramp extends down to the back of the jet. Out of the ramp exists one of the top two bird bros of the Avengers, Hawkeye. You plaster on a smile, the same fake one you used earlier that morning when as you walk out to meet him. "Hi," you say, not knowing what to call him. "Hey, kiddo," he says, giving you a half hug. It takes everything you've got not to explode. "How are you doing?" he asks, looking you up and down. "Haven't seen you in a while." "I'm good," you say on the outside. On the inside, you are saying something like incoherent mumbling mixed with a high-pitched scream. "You?" "Yeah, thanks." He shrugs. Can't complain. "Nice place you've got here," he says, pointing at the house. "Yeah, thanks," you say, looking back at the house. Your mom walked out of the house, a large smile on her face. "Hello, Mr. Barton," she says kindly. "Hello," he greets, shaking her hand. "Well, the others are expecting us, so we probably shouldn't keep them waiting." "Oh, all right," your mom says, giving you a large hug. "Stay out of trouble. I love you." "Love you," you say, giving her a peck on the cheek. Part of you wants to hide behind your mom, but you bravely pick up your suitcase and walk to the jet without looking back. After all, you realize that this may be your only chance to find out what is actually going on. Author's note, hope you enjoyed. And I must say thank you to the Avengers for behaving themselves. Hawkeye in the background. I did all the work in this chapter. Thank you, Hawkeye. We all love and adore you. All right, that's the end of the first chapter. I think that's all we have time for, because I'm like 4 minutes over. But that was Avenger Tower Tidbits by Mountain Frost. Whew! Wow, but we got through a lot of fanfic today. This is by far like the most we've read in one go. I'm really happy, but it also means I have a lot to add to the description afterwards, which is fine. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go make the description and then take a nap. What else do I do after live streams? But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.